Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Leah Hailu, and I'm an intern with the Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity Committee here at Mayo Clinic's Department of Laboratory Medicine and Pathology. And for today's video, I'm here with Carmel, and they'll be answering a few questions about their role and experience at Mayo. So if you'd like to introduce yourself a bit.
Hi, my name is Carmel Sergio, and I work in the Department of Laboratory Medicine and Pathology. I work in Jacksonville Mayo Clinic, and I used to work in Rochester for 9 years, but last year I moved down here due to the cold weather. And I've been a medical technologist for over 10 years, and I graduated from the University of Alaska Anchorage. And before graduating, I got accepted at Mayo Clinic and moved to Rochester.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me a few of your favorite things that you do in your role?
So one of the things that, a few of the things that I really enjoy is that we do infusions here, where we infusions when we give the stem cells back to the patients. So I work in cellular therapy, where we do processing of HPCA, so stem cells collection, and we process the stem cells in the lab and we freeze it. And then later on, we actually thaw it so it can be administered by nurses in a different area back to the patient. And the patient tech and nursing interaction is actually very beautiful and fulfilling. So we interact with patients and we laugh with them. There are times that some of the patients say, can we pray over our stem cells? And then we do that with them. And yeah, it's just very fulfilling to actually see the end point of what we do in the lab, because normally in the lab you don't see it, you just see a number or a name and then you test it. But here you actually interact with the patient itself, giving the stem cells back to the patient itself. And I really enjoy that one because it's fulfilling to see them, their smiling faces, their family be happy if they're actually going to get better in the end.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that ties in well with another question I have, which is, could you talk a little bit more about how your work makes a difference for Mayo patients?
Yes. The work I do can actually help heal cancer patients.
Mhm.
And we believe, or I believe, that human cellular therapy and even the laboratory itself, it's very integral for Mayo itself. And the human cellular therapy is integral for the bone and marrow transplant program. And we are key to processing collected HPCA, HPCM, bone marrows. And without my lab, these life-saving products would not be processed in a timely manner, or it can't be given back to the patient itself. So it is interesting how lab people are overlooked in the healthcare field. And that's a lot of lab people feel that way. But we are as important and useful as because when doctors need tests to be run with quality and efficiency, that's actually us who's actually running those samples. And without us, how can they actually diagnose patients?
Yeah. So
So
thank you for all the work that you do. 100%.
thank you.
And thank you for your answer for that question too. I'm going to jump to the next question here. And you mentioned that you went to school in Alaska. So
Yes.
I'm wondering, why did you choose Mayo Clinic? How did you get to Mayo Clinic, the Mayo Sphere?
So how it happened was I guess the program director was talking about Mayo Clinic. So the first week or something, I said, I think out of it was just a joke. I'm going to apply to that place. And then when I was almost graduating, she said, hey, are you going to apply to Mayo Clinic? I was like, sure, why not? It was just out of the blue. So it was a random application. And then later on, less than a week, Mayo actually called me and said, we want to set up an interview with you.
Mhm.
And it was supposed to be just a video call, but they said, no, the nature of the job, you have to actually fly down here. So they flew me there, all paid expenses and everything else. And before graduating, they actually like hired me. One of the things like why I chose Mayo Clinic was like it's just a life-saving institution. Like you just hear about like how great it is. And I actually wanted to be a part of that due to the fact that I used to um like I have a heart problem, so I want to actually give back to like other patients. And what I mean, why not Mayo Clinic?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you learn a lot from this place. Like there's definitely career advancement. And through Mayo, I got my MBA. So yeah, it's a good place to work at.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And for my next question, can you share or oh, sorry, I read the wrong question. So for my next question, can you talk about how Mayo Clinic compares to other roles that you've had or other jobs that you've had?
Well, since graduating, I have only worked at Mayo Clinic.
Mhm.
So I guess my longevity speaks volume of how like I'm proud and very blessed to be working here. And working at Mayo has shown me the value of like quality care, like being caring, definitely work hard, and teamwork is key, because without teamwork, I mean, Mayo will not function. So
Mhm.
all the, like the business area, the lab people, the doctors, like all of that are very integral to like each other for Mayo to just work properly.
Yeah, thank you. And I've noticed when doing these interviews, a lot of staff, they've been at Mayo for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've also been here for a long time. So I was wondering, where do you see yourself in the future at Mayo Clinic?
Um, I see myself in the future at Mayo Clinic like being in management. Because I mean, I was in management in Rochester, but I moved down here, so got to start from the bottom. But I have personally because I have personal experience being a tech and using my knowledge of like what I learned as like a technologist. I think I'll be a good leader in the end, not just a boss, but a leader.
Yeah, thank you. And for my last question, can you share a time where working at Mayo helped you find a sense of belonging?
So let's see. It is probably the time when I moved from Rochester to here. Because like when I moved here and started working my new lab, I just felt like I was welcomed and appreciated, and there was this sense of familiarity, even if like with the Mayo culture, even if it's like in a different state. Like there's just that culture of like belonging, of inclusivity, or and I didn't feel like I was a stranger. I just felt like I was like a new family member when
Oh,
I came. Yeah. So I guess that's like my an example that a sense of belonging that's completely different. Like Rochester Mother Mayo, and then here Jacksonville. So yeah, we call the Rochester one Mother Mayo here. So yeah,
that's funny. I like that.
yep.
And so I guess with that, I'm reaching the end of this video. And I want to see, is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience about Mayo or about your experience?
Sure. One of my experience is that I was actually a patient at Mayo Clinic because I have had open heart surgery here at Mayo. And so therefore I know firsthand the excellent care Mayo actually gives to its patients. And even my parents said like they only had good things to say about Mayo. So I I definitely can vouch that Mayo is a good place to work at, and at the same time to be a patient, because I experienced it firsthand. And it's like it was a major surgery, and I just felt
Mhm.
that everyone took care of me from the very beginning to like the end, and also recovery time. And I recovered very well due to the fact that they wanted me to do this, to do that, and there were like lots of follow-ups. So yeah, I was in good hands.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Well, thank you for also doing this interview, and thank you for speaking with our audience today.
Oh, you're welcome.